You know, there's something I've been noticing lately. Little things that just don't feel the same as they used to. Maybe you felt it too. You reach for a jar on the top shelf, and suddenly, your shoulder protests. Or you walk up the stairs, and your knees remind you they're not as spry as they once were. And let's not even talk about trying to remember where you left your keys. If any of that sounds familiar, you're not alone. After 60, our bodies start sending us gentle, and sometimes not so gentle, reminders that time marches on. But here's the good news. Understanding what's changing is the first step to staying ahead of it. So today, we're going to talk about 5 things that often start to shift after 60, not to worry you, but to empower you. Because when we know what's happening, we can take simple, practical steps to keep feeling our best. Now, let's start with something many of us notice first, our energy levels. Energy levels. Remember when you could tackle a full day of errands, gardening, and still have energy left for an evening out? These days, you might find yourself needing a little more downtime between activities. That's completely normal. Our metabolism slows, and our cells don't produce energy quite as efficiently as they once did. But here's the thing. It doesn't mean you have to resign yourself to feeling tired all the time. Small adjustments can make a big difference. For example, moving your body, even just a short walk, can actually boost your energy. And staying hydrated? That's a game changer. Dehydration sneaks up on us as we age, leaving us feeling sluggish. So keep that water bottle handy. And let's talk about sleep. It's common for sleep patterns to shift as we get older. Maybe you wake up earlier or find it harder to drift off. But good sleep is non-negotiable for energy. A calming bedtime routine, like reading or listening to soft music, can help signal to your body that it's time to wind down. Joint and muscle health. Now, let's move on to something else many of us feel. Those creaks and groans when we stand up or bend down. Our joints and muscles naturally lose some of their flexibility and strength over time. Cartilage wears down, and muscles shrink if we don't use them. But here's the encouraging part. Movement is like oil for those hinges. You don't need to run a marathon. Gentle stretching, yoga, or even chair exercises can keep your joints happy. And strength training? It's not just for bodybuilders. Lifting light weights or using resistance bands a few times a week can help maintain muscle mass and keep you steady on your feet. And don't forget about posture. Slouching might feel comfortable in the moment, but it puts extra strain on your back and joints. Try this. Sit up tall, shoulders relaxed, and imagine a string pulling you gently upward from the top of your head. Feels better, doesn't it? Memory and cognitive function. Okay, let's talk about something that worries a lot of us. Those "where did I put my glasses?" moments. It's true, our brains process information a bit slower as we age, and short-term memory can get a little fuzzier. But before you panic, know this. Forgetfulness isn't always a red flag. In fact, there's plenty we can do to keep our minds sharp. First, challenge your brain like you challenge your muscles. Puzzles, reading, learning a new hobby. These all create new connections in your brain. Even something as simple as brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand can give your brain a little workout. Second, stay social. Conversations, laughter, and even friendly debates keep your brain engaged. Loneliness can actually speed up cognitive decline, so make time for friends and family. And finally, don't underestimate the power of a good diet. Foods rich in omega-3s, like fish, walnuts, and flax seeds, are like brain fuel. And blueberries? They're tiny but mighty when it comes to brain health. You know, one of the most beautiful things about getting older is the wisdom we gain, the little life hacks we pick up along the way. But let's be honest, some changes still catch us by surprise, don't they? Like when you realize your eyes aren't quite as sharp as they used to be, or that your favorite foods don't always agree with you the way they once did. Well, today, we're going to talk about 2 more areas that often shift after 60, our vision and our digestion. Now, I know these might not be the most glamorous topics, but trust me, taking care of them can make everyday life so much smoother. So let's dive in. Vision changes. Have you ever picked up a book only to find yourself holding it farther and farther away just to read the words? Or maybe you've noticed that driving at night isn't as easy as it used to be. That's because our eyes go through natural changes as we age. The lenses become less flexible, making it harder to focus on close-up objects. Hello, reading glasses. And our pupils don't dilate as quickly, which is why dim lighting or glare from headlights can be tougher to handle. But here's the good news. there's a lot we can do to protect our vision. First, regular eye checkups are a must. Even if you think your glasses prescription hasn't changed, an eye doctor can catch early signs of conditions like cataracts or glaucoma, which are much easier to manage when caught early. Second, give your eyes a break from screens. If you're like me, you probably spend a fair amount of time on your phone or tablet. Try the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. It's a simple trick, but it really helps reduce eye strain. And don't forget about nutrition. Foods rich in vitamins A, C, and E, like carrots, spinach, and oranges, support eye health. Omega-3s, found in fish like salmon, can also help keep those peepers in good shape. Digestive health. Now, let's talk about something we don't always bring up in polite conversation: our digestion. If you've noticed that certain foods don't sit as well as they used to, or that things aren't moving as smoothly as they once did, you're not imagining it. Our digestive system slows down with age. Stomach acid production decreases, making it harder to break down food, and our intestines don't move things along as quickly. But here's the thing: small tweaks can make a big difference. First, fiber is your friend. Whole grains, fruits, vegetables, and legumes keep everything running smoothly. And don't forget to drink plenty of water. Fiber needs hydration to do its job properly. Probiotics are another game changer. Yogurt with live cultures, kefir, sauerkraut, or even a probiotic supplement can help maintain a healthy gut balance. And if you're dealing with heartburn, try eating smaller meals and avoiding lying down right after eating. One more tip: chew your food thoroughly. It sounds simple, but it gives your digestive system a head start, making it easier to absorb nutrients and avoid discomfort. Now that we've covered vision and digestion, there's one more area we need to talk about, something that affects everything from our mood to our overall health. And the best part? It's something we can actively work on, no matter our age. You know, as we've been talking about these changes that come after 60, I've been thinking about something my grandmother used to say: growing older isn't about losing strength. It's about learning where to put your strength. And that brings us to our final point today, one that ties everything together. Because while energy, joints, memory, vision, and digestion are all important, there's something deeper that affects every single one of them: our emotional well-being. Emotional well-being. Let's be honest, life after 60 isn't always easy. Maybe you've retired and missed the structure of work. Or perhaps you've lost loved ones along the way, and the house feels quieter than it used to. Even positive changes, like becoming an empty nester, can leave us feeling a little untethered. But here's what I've learned: our emotional health is just as vital as our physical health. In fact, they're deeply connected. Stress, loneliness, or unresolved emotions can actually make physical issues feel worse, while a positive outlook can give us the resilience to handle whatever comes our way. So how do we nurture our emotional well-being? First, stay connected. Humans are wired for companionship, and isolation can take a real toll. Even if you're not a social butterfly, small interactions matter. A weekly phone call with a friend, joining a book club, or even chatting with neighbors over the fence. And if you're feeling lonely, don't hesitate to reach out. You'd be surprised how many people are eager for connection, but just waiting for someone to make the first move. Second, find purpose. It doesn't have to be grand. Watering plants, volunteering, teaching a grandchild a skill, or even writing letters to old friends can give you a sense of meaning. Purpose is like fuel for the soul. And finally, be kind to yourself. It's easy to dwell on what we used to do or how we used to feel. But aging isn't a failure. It's a privilege denied to many. Celebrate the small victories. Did you take a walk today? Fantastic. Did you laugh at a silly joke? Even better. So let's recap what we've covered. Energy levels. Keep moving, stay hydrated, and prioritize sleep. Joint and muscle health. Gentle exercise and strength training are your allies. Memory and cognition. Challenge your brain, stay social, and eat mind-boosting foods. Vision changes. Regular checkups, screen breaks, and eye-friendly nutrition. Digestive health. Fiber, hydration, probiotics, and mindful eating. Emotional well-being, connection, purpose, and self-compassion. But here's the most important thing: you don't have to tackle everything at once. Start small. Maybe today, you drink an extra glass of water. Tomorrow, you call an old friend. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. If there's one thing I hope you take away from this, it's this: aging isn't about decline, It's about adaptation. Our bodies and lives change, but that doesn't mean they stop being vibrant, meaningful, or full of joy. So tell me in the comments, what's one small change you'll try this week? Maybe it's adding blueberries to your breakfast or setting a reminder to stretch every morning. I'd love to hear from you. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more tips on thriving at any age. Remember, every day is a new opportunity to feel a little stronger, a little brighter, and a little more you. Here's to living your best life, one small, joyful step at a time.